Mike Ryan is taking a victory lap right here. Tony, how would you describe what Mike Ryan has been doing here as the international reporter, the only one who had everything on the biggest athlete in the world correct, that Messi is coming to Miami? This shit's crazy.
If you're not watching on YouTube, he's got a Messi shirt on, and he's been showing it kind of like somebody would a jersey when they're in front of a camera, and he's got his tongue out. He's doing like this kind of thing where he puts his finger on his elbow when he hits a three, that kind of thing.
Give me my flowers. Right the whole damn time.
Didn't you say that you weren't saying he was coming here? That just it's
I didn't want to give a prediction. But my reporting the entire time was accurate. While people were saying he was re-signing with PSG, while people were saying Barca, while people were saying it was done and dusted that he was going to Saudi, I remain firm that Inter Miami's contact with Lionel Messi's camp was regular and conversations were deep, deal points were talked out, and that Inter Miami, while dismissed by all of legacy media and all the best insiders that got this story completely wrong, were in this. Were a serious threat. Were finalists for Lionel Messi. And this was going to be the week. Don't doubt me. We got him. We got him.
To be honest, this is a bigger day for Mike Ryan than it is for Messi.
Zagaki. It's a sad day for Messi, probably.
This is Mike's number one day here.
You can't spell fabrication without fab.
Oh, he's going after the Woj of international soccer.
Well, the Woj of international soccer said he was re-signing with PSG back in December. But I knew things.
Anybody who's been listening to this show knows that Mike has been right about everything when it comes to the reporting of that story. We'll get more information on why he made that decision. But, David, why are you shaking your head? Because he's eaten up 3 minutes of your time?
Sorry, David, but this news just broke by plenty of reputable reporters, so it's time. I'm sorry. It's the greatest soccer player of all time choosing South Florida. I apologize, David. Floor is yours.
Sampson is supposed to be here on Thursdays. He's not because there's a game 3.
But you have David upset that Mike took up too much of his time.
Well, Sampson's down to like 9 minutes now in this segment when he used to be an hour on Thursdays. Why were you shaking your head no?
I'm shaking my head because my quads hurt, because I've been sitting up at attention because I'm too short for the live show since I was told to be here at 9:30. That's why I'm shaking my head.
Okay, so we've kept you waiting 15 minutes on what is now a reduced segment.
At attention, no less. And it also should be noted that it's not Inter Miami who's getting Messi, it's MLS. So while I do give Mike credit for saying that Inter Miami is involved, they're like the conduit for the deal that's happening. And it's not MLS, it's not Miami doing the negotiating, it's MLS, because the only chance he has of coming here is if he gets a piece of the Apple deal and gets a piece of the Adidas deal of those sponsorships. This is a league deal, and they're placing him in a market where they need to make sure that they've got stars in order to get the building built, which I assume they've broken ground, and it's opening, I guess, in a year or two. I've not been down to Mel Reese recently.
I have. It looks overgrown like a jungle. It's actually pretty creepy.
Have they not started construction at all?
No. As I understand it, their lease doesn't begin until they start construction. So they've actually saved money against this. And keep in mind, the valuation of the club goes up the second shovels go into dirt. So maybe they're holding off. So Messi, when he agrees to this deal formally and the deal points come out that he has equity in the club, can actually get more initially because the value of this club is about to skyrocket. I will push back on the notion that this is a league deal and not an Inter Miami deal. Inter Miami was the team that has been negotiating with Messi's camp for years. Inter Miami's ownership was the people taking direct face-to-face meetings with Messi's camp. Apple and Adidas came into this very recently. And the league is doing credit to MLS. They are doing whatever they can to help this deal go through, and they're leveraging their partners. But to say that this is a league deal takes credit away from the Moss family and Inter Miami for getting this done.
The Moss family couldn't get the deal done, not because they don't have the money or not because they're not liquid enough.
David, the Moss family just got the deal done. The Moss family just got the deal done.
They could not offer what was needed to even potentially be in the conversation to get Messi. They don't have the ability to offer a piece of the Apple deal. It has to be the league.
You're mistaken. And the Saudi money late in the game did change the dynamics of the deal and allowed for the league partners to step up to the plate and and make this a more robust offer on an annual value basis. But Messi choosing Miami isn't necessarily for dollars. When you have Saudi Arabia coming in offering you essentially $1 billion a year, that is really difficult to say no to. So in a last bit of leveraging, MLS and its league partners had to sweeten the pot to get this deal done. 100%
And are you sure he's getting
accurate.
equity in Miami, or is he going to get the chance, the way Beckham did, to get into an expansion team at a lowered valuation?
He
which
is
was
absolutely
Beckham's deal?
he is absolutely getting a percentage of the club. He is 100% getting a percentage of the club. Will this be a launch pad for him to have additional opportunities? I've heard that. I haven't had that directly confirmed by my sources. I've heard that actually from MLS sources. I've heard from MLS sources that he had conversations additionally with a group that was trying to put together a club in Las Vegas. But make no mistake about it, this was Inter Miami's deal wire to wire. MLS may have gotten in the game late, but the conversations were always going through the Moss family.
David, though, I understand what it is that you're saying, right? Because what has just happened with the Moss family is the guy who's a gas bag who sat next to Jeffrey Lurie at an All-Star game, and when it came time to buy the Marlins, didn't actually have the money, has now negotiated in a place where it's very hard to come by land, a sweet, sweet land deal contingent upon building something near the airport that will have to be built quickly by Miami. Good luck with that. Built well by Miami. Good luck with that.
Keep in mind, they built the stadium in Fort Lauderdale very quickly.
But this was a giant swing.
And you can tell.
But this was a giant swing to bring the biggest athlete in sports at the height of his leverage and power to make American soccer work, because Messi in Miami, he doesn't have anything else to prove in international soccer. He can start building his brand post-retirement like Brady and LeBron, because he's going to have equity, because he's just used all his power to make MLS matter more than it has.
And to Dan's
Messi's
point,
already bigger than LeBron.
not here in the States. Not here in the States. This was the final frontier. And what Dan is saying was a huge part of this. When Messi lifted that cup over the winter, the game changed. And Inter Miami's chances only increased from there, because Messi had nothing else to prove. It was all legacy plays. He had nothing else to prove in Europe. If you want to take pot shots that he wasn't able to push PSG over that final hump and get Champions League, fine. But he was the best player in the world during his most important time, a legacy-defining competition.
Perfect way to retire is here with what is left of his brand management,
Yeah.
David. It's
His
just
family-
it's a monster move.
His family wanted to be here. He's going to be a mogul in the United States. And we'll see if MLS's gamble and Apple's gamble will pay off. So far, it has not. I have very strong opinions about putting the entire sport behind a paywall. I think it was counterintuitive to the growth of this sport. But now, whenever you get Apple TV ads, instead of Ted Lasso's face, you're going to see Lionel Messi's, and that is a major, major coup. And I am so sorry to eat into your time, because I know we've been yo-yoing you around, and I do want to talk Live PGA. We'll bring you back for the next segment. This news just so happened to finally break during your segment, and I apologize for that. But I don't want you to dismiss Inter Miami and Moss family from what just happened here, because they got the stadium, they saved the team, and they saved Messi. They got Messi. So I understand taking all the shots, and I know that they didn't have the capital to do anything other than just be a stalking horse for a potential owner. But they got this done.
Yeah, don't misunderstand what I'm saying. Having Messi in Miami is huge for MLS. I'm merely saying that what got him over the finish line was not Miami or Moss or his branding or any of it. It was still money. They had to come up with an offer that had to include upside from Apple and Adidas, or else it wasn't going to happen. That was my only point.